All right, so I know some of you have been waiting to hear about how you can become an apprentice and what these jobs are that people who are professionally trained plasterers and cement masons do. And so we'll get right into it. So in the studio with us, we have two people from that local 148 and seated right next to me. And even though he's told me this 3 times now.
Khaulyl Trotman.
Khaulyl Trotman, and you're an apprentice, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Oh, cool. We are so excited you're here because your view of how this is working out for you in your life is probably the most convincing thing for any listener out there that, oh, hey,
Yeah.
this just might be for me.
Right.
Yeah. And so seated next to Khaulyl is Wimlish Owens Jr., who I first met on the phone several days ago, and we had a really long, great conversation, and so we're going to hope to translate that right over into our radio show right now.
All right.
So let's start with the simplest thing, which is, what do the workers who are members of this union do? We'll start with
Our
Wimlish.
members work for contractors, concrete contractors, mostly in metro Atlanta area, and then also industrial sites located in various areas of the state. And but what they do, their task is to finish concrete. And my task as a business agent is to increase our employer base and also increase our membership. So we now have a little over 120 members, okay? And 148 covers the whole South, East, okay? And on the Saturday, what I do, I switch hats and I become an apprentice instructor. We started off when I was hired on in February 2019. We had 3 apprentices. He was one of the 3. We now have over 20. And this is just word of mouth.
Great.
Okay.
This is a big word of mouth here. This is 100,000 watts word of mouth.
Right.
And I train from 8 to 2:30. Okay. And what we do is we combine classroom training along with hands-on. Okay. Now, Troutman is our apprentice that is going on his 3rd year. He's getting ready to top out and become a pro. So what he does, he's getting on-the-job training. Okay, he has to complete 144 hours of class time, along with 1,000 hours of on-the-job training. And what I do as an instructor is I keep up with his hours, both on the job and also in the class.
Well, I'm going to come back again because the very first thing I asked you when I saw the name of the union that Randy sent me was operative plasterers. And I asked you, what's an operative plasterer as opposed to somebody, who puts plaster on?
You can, some people, that's the technical name of the plaster, which it's a plaster that provides a function. But you can also use plaster in cement masonry, okay, whichever you decide to, okay. But the technical name is Operative Plasters Cement Masons International Association, which is, we got established in 1864. We're one of the oldest building trades in this country, okay. Right now, we're doing pretty good in terms of our membership. We really increased a lot of membership now. And in terms of our training program, what we're doing now is we're building a storage building behind our local. And that's gonna house all of our material and equipment.
All right. So is there a difference? I'm going to just be the most unknowledgeable person, and hopefully I'm asking questions that folks out there are also thinking. Is there a difference between the work that somebody does and somebody that does drywall, mudding of drywall? Because I consider that
question.
plaster.
Yeah, good question. when you perform the task of a plasterer. That's the name plasterer, but there's specialties that goes with it, okay? Because to be a plasterer, professional plasterer, you have to learn some carpentry skills. You have to also be able to hang and finish drywall. That falls under plaster, okay? Now, cement masonry, there's a lot of specialties that go along with that, okay? To be a cement mason, you have to also know how to lay block, brick. You also need to be able to set tile. That all falls under that word, cement masonry. Specifically, concrete is your major field. So you have concrete, specifically pavement, okay?
Like
Foundation
sidewalks and
footers, like that,
driveways and
yes. And then you
footers,
have
okay.
cement masonry, okay?
All right, so let me get to third-year apprentice, just about to go off and be a full-scale journey person.
Right.
Let's talk about your life. So how is it that happened, that you found this field? And then tell me, and then I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions about your experience.
Okay, well, actually I was at a point in my life where I was, pretty much realizing that I was becoming nothing. So, in turn, I came to go into Job Corps, in which I met my instructor, Mr. Jesse Ray. And, he pushed me, like, I noticed you're a hard worker, so he pushed me. He said, hey, come on over to my program. I could teach you concrete. You learn this, you can work for the rest of your life. So that's how in turn came to being a part of Local 148.
So how old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
And so just reference that you've been in this program just about 3 years.
Yes,
Correct. All right, so let me just ask. I'm just going to ask the questions that people out there might say. Okay, I'm somebody, who's been trying to find a job, and all I can find is these low-wage jobs, and I don't get 40 hours, and I don't make enough money to be able to afford my own place, and I'm just in this kind of rut of not seeing where my future lies. So could you tell our listeners just really maybe how being in this program has changed your perspective on who you are, because now you're going to be somebody with a really valuable skill. You're going to be like a top dog.
Yeah, okay. So I can say that it has really moralized my life. I came from a point where I had absolutely nothing. From being in this program, I'm on my second apartment. Between me and my girlfriend, we have 3 cars. I work anywhere from 50 to 70 hours a week.
What?
So yeah. So I mean, it's a really wonderful program. It could put you out there and it could just expand your horizon. I'm talking about magnificently. Like I'm just blown away. Yeah.
All right, so your entry was through meeting somebody in Job Corps. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so I think when we were talking on the phone, Wimlish, you said that you had some sort of a relationship
Yes.
with Job Corps. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Under the OPCMIA, it's a wide umbrella. On one half of it is specifically caters to training young men and women, a pre-apprenticeship training. So, in other words, like we have contractual agreement with the Department of Labor and with Job Corps. And what we do as journeymen, we have journeymen that...
Now you know I'm going to say journey people.
But they're specifically work on these Job Corps centers, and they have a shop where they have equipment, tools, and also material. And what they just do is construct the young men and women about the basics of the concrete industry. And once they have completed the course and become, just apprentices, but all they want to do is just get on an entry level, okay? But they do combine social skills along with the training and employability skills, okay? Then my responsibility was to oversee the instructors. Also, once the graduates separate from the job or training program, get them into the specific locals and Trotman's situation, I used to come on the Job Corps centers maybe once or twice a year, visit the program, take a look at the students, see how they're working, looking at their skill sets, and I already got an eye for the future. I'm looking at who is getting ready to come out next. And this young man really displayed some really good skills. So I said, this young man needs to, once he graduates, one thing I really want to do is get him into our local 148. And that's what we did. Got him to the local, got him into the apprenticeship, he went straight to work. As now, not a pre-apprentice anymore, his title changed to apprentice now. And that's where his training really began. Okay? And I am very proud of him. It takes a lot of determination, okay, for you just to get through that pre-apprenticeship level and then upgrade to an apprentice. And then not only that, manage yourself on that job. So I get good evaluations from his foreman, and I'm very pleased to continue working with him.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because he looks about 18, 17, 18.
He's an old man at 24.
Right, you are a young man at 24 with a career, you know, with the skill that you can use, you know,
And
moving
take
forward.
anywhere.
Yeah, and take it anywhere too.
Okay, so, you know, I was an auto worker, so I'm always interested in exactly what people do, because most people don't really understand even what auto workers do, even though they're driving a car and they can see all the parts that have to go in it. So, when I'm driving down the street, I see workers, let's say on some big building site, and I see them doing the concrete sidewalks and the driveways, and or even before that, I saw them doing the footers way down in the hole. Now, let's just take a big job site. How many people who are cement masons would be needed on a big industrial job like that, or a big job?
Well, as of right now, I work on a crew with exactly 11 people, but on that site, you have actually 5 different crews. They vary anywhere from maybe 11 to maybe 9, 9 different people on each crew.
All right, so in other words, on a big construction site that I drive by, I would see groups of people that are pouring the footers. I might see groups of people that are doing other things, and you're saying there's a separate crew for each one of those
Yes,
jobs?
that would be a separate crew to do each individual task. You may have this person over here helping pour the footers, and then you got this person here, they might be pouring for something different. Maybe they're doing the curbs around the actual what you're pouring. Then you got the people that's doing the main floor, like the slab. You got your finishers. You may have anywhere from 6 to 8 people, and then you also have to have your concrete laborers. You'll maybe have 4 or 5 of them, or maybe even a labor per finisher.
All right, so on a job like this, let's say, I can't think of something, you're building a 40-story apartment. Okay. How long would you be on site normally?
Well, I'm there from the first rock getting poured into that mat into the last rock until it's finished and done with.
So that can be anywhere. It can be 6 months.
Yeah.
It could be a year. And some of these projects can go as long as 2 to 3 years.
Right.
We have a huge project that is located in Huntsville, Alabama, and that's a Toyota plant being built. 3.6 million square feet.
That's a lot of concrete floors.
That's a lot of time.
As a person who stood on
We are now trying to
auto
get the manpower.
assembly line concrete
Right.
floors, that's a lot of concrete floors. Okay, let me think where I want to go next. Okay, so when we were talking on the phone, you said there was even a specialty kind of plasterers in museums and stuff like that. I took that to mean that it was more artistic or ornamental,
Yes.
or
Yes.
I'll just use the word fancy.
Yes. Yes.
So, so tell
that's,
me how
yeah.
that is taught.
Yeah, that's being taught while you are going through your apprenticeship. It starts there. Once you become a professional, There are specific jobs where it's nothing but that high-end type plaster, the artist type plaster. That's what it might call for that on the specs. So what happened is a business agent or let's just say a contractor who goes after that type of work only needs that type of a plaster. Now to be a professional plasterer or concrete, you have to have knowledge and skill in all phases of that industry. Because like you just said, at certain times, certain jobs might need certain type of plaster being done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have a plaster that is skillful in all areas.
Gotcha.
But that's a high-end, that's the high-end part. That's the ornamental. You'll see those type of work, like if you go into some of the museums, sculptures. Matter of fact, I know the material right now, I can duplicate your face.
Wow.
Okay.
There's certain material. It's an art and a skill of using various materials to produce walls and ceilings, but also there's art form comes with it.
Gotcha.
And then concrete's just the opposite. It's paper.
Right. That's great. That is great.
Okay. So let me ask this question now to both of you. One of the things that we've discussed, we've had several building trades on, and we're going to be doing this for probably the rest of 2019, maybe into 2020. And so there's been a lot of people who've been on this program. I will say, like the iron workers, all of us went, oh yeah. No way are we walking on beams up there.
Right.
I'm not so sure if I'm interested in being a cement mason either. I see people kneeling down so much, and I'm just going, my knees are already hurting.
Right. Oh yeah. I know all about that.
And so I think one of the things that we always try to talk about on the labor forum, and I'm a big proponent of this, is that all of us who do a job, and the song that starts our program is We Do the Work, and it names a whole bunch of jobs. And it names jobs that people sometimes are oblivious of, that people are doing, but that without which they would have no quality of life at all. There would just be nothing there. And so I always want to make sure that everybody who does anything gets the proper respect.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, one of the things I think about when I think about sometimes construction workers, that, what do I want to say? I think people think that this is a job that really anybody can do, or it's a job that, I don't know, is, well, one, a lot of the jobs are dirty. You get really dirty.
Yeah.
And so there's a sense of, oh, a job in an office is a better job than this job. And I want to really reflect on that, because one of the things is with all the building and construction trades is you wouldn't be in a house, and you wouldn't be on a road, you wouldn't be walking on a sidewalk.
Right.
There is nothing that somebody who is a builder does one of these jobs didn't have their hands in. And I guess I want to talk to you a little bit about the sense of pride or the sense of accomplishment you have when the job is done, and then there it is for decades and decades. There it is. Either both of you can comment on that.
Okay, it's just a feeling that you can never describe. But what I like most of all is building cities. I kind of look at it like that. But we do one aspect of it. And then once you are done with your part of construction, what I really like is I always come back and look at it. That's the pride. Okay. You say, hey, look, this is something that I was part of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I can say I take pride in my work for the simple fact that after I pour a slab and we lay it down real good, and you can come back and you can look at it, you be like, man, I did that. I remember doing this, I remember doing that. But while you're doing it, you think about, man, I'm ready to get up out of here. You're dripping with sweat, you wiping your forehead off, you constantly drinking water. But the finished project is always what you coming terms to look forward to. Like right now, I'm working at a nuclear facility. It's called Plant Vogtle, off in Augusta, Georgia. I don't know if you all heard about it.
Sure.
That's where I'm working at. And I'm just waiting for that finished project and waiting for to see that first turbine, you know, just get to run. That's just gonna make my heart beat different.
Wow.
Well, all right, so, I don't know, Calvin, you got a question
Yeah.
or a comment?
Yeah. I would like to know. So, what about people with criminal backgrounds? Are they allowed to get into the training program?
Yes,
We ask
yes, you can.
every training program this because we have a strong sense that people deserve another chance.
right, everybody deserves a second chance, and our doors are open, okay? Now, of course, certain jobs we can't go on and go and work because like his site is a nuclear facility. But yes, to answer your question, our doors are open for all individuals who want a second chance.
Great.
Doors are open.
And I've heard that same response before because I don't know which group it was, but they were saying the same thing that certain jobs that you guys have
Ones
won't
that
allow
have certain
people
security.
right because of security and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So but that's great.
Yeah. And I want to add, a lot of construction workers start very, very young. Me, myself in particular. I fell in love with it when I was in really middle school. Our teacher taught us how to build a mock-up house. And that was it. By the time I was 16, I was already taking a vocational trade. And then I knew exactly where I wanted to go when I graduated. You know, your parents asked you, hey, do you want to go to college? I want to go right into the apprenticeship training program.
Right.
Well, my dad was a union electrician, IBEW in Minnesota, and I think I got that sense of pride too because we would drive around Minneapolis, and my dad would. I wired that. He didn't wire the whole darn thing, but you would have thought he wired the whole building, the whole shopping mall, or whatever. And then there is that when you're, doing something that has some material reality to it. It doesn't matter whether you made this table or, produced some other thing that's tangible. The fact that you laid hands on it, however you did it, you laid hands on it. So I want to ask a question again that I ask everybody who's come in because quite obviously the building trades historically have been mostly men, and in this country have been those that got paid were white men, and those that worked for nothing and built things were black men during a considerable period of this country's history. And so for certainly a while, unions were not very open to people of color and to women. So I ask everybody how it is that you're recruiting for people who have, for whatever reason, have not been normally seen on building sites.
Well, it starts by attitude. You gotta have a positive attitude, okay? And it is how you communicate. But most importantly, I started as an apprentice working with a plastering contractor, and all the journeymen, the pros, were white. All I did was prove to every last one that I can do the work. If I'm taught right, then I can turn it right around, and I can get more and more individuals in the apprenticeship program. But yes, I did start off working with a Dumpy White construction crew. It's all about how you handle yourself and treat people with respect, and you get that back. So I had no issues there.
Okay, wait, what about women? What about women? How are you? Because you told me on the phone about Angel. Wasn't the young woman's name Angel?
Yeah, yes, good.
Yeah. So let's talk about her a little bit, even though she's not here.
Good question. Good question. It's of course construction is mostly male dominated, but it's still open to all females. And Angel found out about our training program and made contact with me. She's now been attending class going on 3 or 4 weeks. She's the only female we have. And what happens is, I'm very proud because she gets out there and works just as hard as the other apprentices. Okay? And from that,
If not harder.
Right, right.
we have another female that's, she's a white female. She's coming all the way from Portland. She heard about 148. She made contact with me last week, and she's going to move into the area, and she's a first-year apprentice. So I contacted her business agent. We talked, and he gave a good recommendation. So once she gets here, she's going to be attending class.
Great.
Okay.
Good enough. Okay, so let's be very specific now in the last 10 or 12 minutes of this. So there's somebody out there who's going, oh, I've been listening to WRFG and I heard about iron worker. I thought, oh, wait, not. I heard about operating engineers. Oh, I thought maybe that might be cool to drive a bulldozer or something. But this sounds like something I might be interested in doing. So exactly, if that person is out there, what do they do in the next day or so?
Well, there's two ways. One, we do have a website. Okay, it's www.opcmia.org, and there's a link. You link to what it says local, and you get a drop down, and all you got to do is just select 148. That's one way. Another way is we do have a website here at Local 148 itself. Okay, you just really it's just www, and then you put in OPCMIA Local 148, and our building will show, and then you get the address and stuff like you can get that.
Okay, but so is the application online, or do you need to come in and do it in person? And then what kind of ID do you have to have? And
Good question.
all that stuff. Tell us
you
every
can do
single
both.
thing.
You can actually, when you do go to our website, we have phone numbers, and we have an office manager who's there Monday through Friday. I'm out in the field a lot, but she'll walk them through the process. Normally, all we ask for is just a copy of your license or state ID and a copy of your social. Okay, and which we usually give each individual our email address, and they forward attached just their license and card. And then what we do in return, we send out the application for membership.
After that.
Okay, or you can just come to our office, and we do it that way.
And the office is located at?
4100 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Southwest. It's in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, zip code 30336.
Okay, so that's a Union Hall, and it's got your big name on the outside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So where about on Martin Luther King is that? I mean, like, is it near
Martyr
like
station?
Adamsville? Is it like near a martyr station, like Holmes martyr station?
Where you talking?
Where's your location?
Okay, it's located right there. Most people can get familiar with this. There's Fulton Industrial Airport.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
We're right across the street.
Oh, okay, right.
Right there at the corner, there's a big intersection called Martin Luther King and Fulton Industrial.
Right there. Okay.
We're right there.
There's a Wendy's out there.
You can get off Interstate 20,
Okay.
285, and still get to us that way.
Okay, so it's near Emil King and Fulton Industrial.
Yes, that's a
Okay.
good point.
That's a great.
Good
All right.
landmark.
All right, so let me just go back a little bit. So your contract is with individual contractors, is that right?
Yes.
All right, so can you describe a little bit what's contained in any contract at all? Like, it's got the wage scale, does it have the increased payment, increased wages? Do you have the, we're being live streamed, y'all.
Yeah, roughly, I'm not gonna go into
And
it.
pension and vacation and benefits of other kinds.
Yes.
Tell our listeners that, because one of the things is, it is true, these are hard jobs.
Right.
They are hard jobs, but the payoff, and I will speak to that, as a woman who got into auto assembly at a period of time when there weren't very many women there. It was a hard job, but I relished the work because not only did I like having that I made something that I could see on the road, and that I drove myself, that I put my own stuff in, but also that I knew that I had all these things. I had health insurance, I had this, I had that, and now I've been retired for 13 years, and whoopee-doo, you know. So talk about what it's in a contract that a plasterer and a cement mason might have.
Basically, you'll have, I'll just use concrete. We have signatory concrete contractors, and within that contract, it states a journeyman wage, or also it gives you a breakdown of 75% of a journeyman wage will go to apprentice, but on top of that base rate, you get your fringe benefits and you get your pension. Now, when you get into healthcare, once you initially become an employee or a contractor, it's right around 6 months, and then you're eligible. And then as far as your pension, around 4 or 5 years. And then that's when you're eligible, you know, to continue. That's locked in then, okay?
Okay.
All right. And along with that contract, there's bylaws and rules, regulations that determines as far as like if there's a journeyman that is training or working and has 2 or 3, or at least a minimum of 3 journeyman persons working under them, then the contractor raises the pay. All right. Now that might be on one job, but then our contract all states general foreman gets a certain rate. So just roughly, I'm going to say with the total package, you're looking a little over $31, $32 an hour.
Okay. Now, of course, so I worked for one employer for 30 years, General Motors. So you could be working for multiple contractors over your life of whenever you decide to stop working. So the pension is based on, that's what I'm trying to figure this out.
Quite certain locations. See, I'm just speaking only of 148, which covers the southeast. Okay, but then when we have a journeyman person who work in the state of Tennessee, that wage is different. Okay, plus the fringe benefits. Okay, but mainly Atlanta 148 oversees the whole southeast, but in every state there could be different wage scales.
Okay.
I won't get into that detail. Yep.
Okay, well, we just have 3 minutes left. So I'm going to ask both of you just to comment one more time about what it's meant to you to be in this skill, or how it is that you think you want to address our audience out there to really encourage them to give any of the building trades a try, really.
Yes.
So both of you get like a minute and a half.
Okay. If you interested in using your hands, your head, and your heart, why don't you look at the building trades? They have a lot to offer. Okay.
Well, I would like to go to say that, you know, if you're willing to travel, make a good bit of money, and if you take pride in the things that you do, and as Mr. Owens said, you like to use your hands, you have a big heart, you know, it'd be a good thing to go out there and get a part of these building trades. It's a wonderful thing.
So let me ask you, so have you talked to any of your friends, relatives, cousins?
Yeah, I actually have. I've had, well, more of the people that I came from Job Corps with, I've talked to several of them, and they've actually came out to join different building trades. Because not everybody knows about the unions. I didn't even know about the union until I met Mr. Owens, and he said, hey, I want to put you in the union. He said, are you ready to be dedicated? Are you ready to travel? Because I'm not even from Georgia. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, so I come far away alone.
Changed his lifestyle,
Right.
and where he used to live. And I have to take my hat off to him because he's a very young man, and he allowed us to give him that opportunity.
Right.
Trying to go live.
Took the advantage of the opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And I have to say, I look forward to every fourth Monday, because, my dad was an electrician, and he had friends that were plumbers and all the other trades, and we used to go to picnics and stuff like that, and everybody was there. And so I never achieved that same kind of skill, but I definitely, and like I said, I like the fact that I made something, and that if I went out on the street, I could see, there's a car I did this to, or there's a truck I did that to.
Right.
And especially when they were still there years after I'd
Yeah.
made them, that was a big deal. And so I do think it's one of the things that we talk about a lot here on the Labor Forum, about the value of every person who does a job, and it doesn't matter whether it's somebody who's doing your dry cleaning, or somebody who's delivering your mail, somebody who makes that salad that you got at the salad bar, the person at the hospital that changes your sheets, and the ones that take you and x-ray you. It just doesn't matter what the jobs are. The MARTA drivers, the the ambulance workers, all these people are absolutely necessary to a functioning society. And here at the Labor Forum, we want to give the respect that every worker deserves. And we want them to have the life that every worker deserves. So I want to thank you both
And I would like to thank you.
Thank you for having
for
us.
being on air.